What's up? Got a Kaiser. Boom. You know, I just can't spin as good here. So I don't know. That tradition may die. But this is a Kaiser Assassin, a Carlos Elsner design, S35VN titanium. It's a front flipper only. And this one goes along with, I have been buying some older Kaisers. And it's amazing how many of these older ones that I can find still brand new. Um, and not all of them are great. I'll admit, I've had a few recently that are just not amazing. So let's see what this one's about. Um, it's not the Assassin, the new Assassin. This is the older Assassin. And yeah, it is quite a bit smaller than the new Assassin. Okay. Well, let's get rid of all this stuff. We'll check it in, check it out. Um, yeah, some of these older Kaisers aren't great. We'll see about this one. But I decent prices and they are available. This particular one I bought on AliExpress, and I got it for a really reasonable price. I think I was under $75. I think I paid for this, brand new. So yeah, it's raw titanium pocket clip, good tension. Got a lanyard hole. Got these holes. All right, let's get in it, man. Let's see what's up. Which way do I go? You know, I got to go this way first. Okay. Yeah, because, I mean, sometimes, man, you go and you hurt your thumb. You hurt yourself. Wow. Okay. Man, look at this thing. S35VN, the Assassin, and I'm assuming that's the designer's logo there. Yeah. Man. All right, let's. Okay. Front flipper, sweet. Yeah. I mean, for right out of the box, brand new, the action is pretty nice for the knife, the size of the knife for what it is. Um, it's got, pretty good jimping. Not quite combat stuff. I mean, it's kind of refined, but it's got a bite. It's got a bite. It's not a lot of a purchase here, but I mean, we'll come back to that in the when we talk about ergos. I mean, this thing's locked up super tight. Well, let's get in it. Let's take it apart, man. You know, I want to take it apart. Yeah, so I don't know why I got on this kick with these older Kaisers. I've seen a couple on eBay for sale and people moving them, and sometimes the prices are reasonable, and sometimes the prices are terrible. You know, I mean, I get it, it's a rare piece, but man, I mean, 250 bucks for a knife that sold for 80 bucks when it came out. I just can't imagine you're selling a lot of them like that. But what do I know? I mean, I'm not in the selling old knives market. I mean, it's a little dirty, kind of, I'm going to say that greasy look. That bearing's kind of, well, it's free. Must just be oil or something sucking it down. There we go. Let that pivot out. Well, now, stop being difficult, man. There it is. That pin don't need to come out. But I do want to try to get this little racetrack washer out of there. There it is. Had some oil behind it. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, I can tell you right now, so far, it's a pretty good example of AliExpress knife. So I think it probably took every bit of 3 weeks to get here. But I mean, that's typical for a Chinese knife. I mean, if you ordered, which I think I saw this, what is it, Mojave Outdoor? Are they going out of business? I think I saw where they're shutting down. I believe I saw that. Um, Man, I you know what? It's amazing how people will say anything online, and I try not to do that. So I'll be right back. Yes, Mojave Outdoors, the end of February, is going offline, and it looks like everything's going to run through KIZER.com. That they're moving everything to KIZER.com. So, okay. What do we got going on here? I mean, is that chewed bubble gum? And it's on both sides. It is just the hole cut through that knife. What did they cut that with? I mean, man, that is not a clean cut at all. I mean, I'm trying to see the racetrack for the bearing. It's outside of that, but man, is that chewed up. If that action becomes bumpy, like gritty, that's why right there. We'll see. I've never seen that. Whew. Maybe that's why it's an old discontinued model because when they cut a big batch of them blades, they cut them like that. I don't know. I mean, that's, I mean, that's a horrible drill job through that. I mean, the holes through the titanium and everything are crisp and clean, but man, that is gnarly. If it doesn't affect the action, though, I mean, I'm just I'm just pitching a moan for no reason. Because in the end, it's internals, and if it's not affecting the action, who cares? Uh, let's go here. Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to finish that thought. It's amazing what people will say online. Oh gosh, sure enough, that pin popped out of there. There it is. Um, I've seen recently where a subs- uh, a person online in social media has had a problem with a manufacturer and has shared the problem, and then in the midst of sharing that problem, just a mountain of unsubstantiated kind of rumor slinging nonsense about how there's shill bidders and auctions and just all this. I mean, and to me, it's like, man, I don't know. It just falls in the category of online people can say anything. Be careful about what you believe, good or bad, because you just don't know what's motivating somebody. They got burned or they felt like they should have been treated a certain way by somebody or some entity, and they didn't get treated properly. So now their opinions about everything that's ever happened since the beginning of time is tainted by this biased vision that they have. And I don't know. I don't know why I'm ranting about it, but I know why. Because I started to say something about Mojave Outdoor, and then I thought, well, what if it's not them? Then I've left it on a video, and people are thinking they're going out of business, and they're like, well, where'd you hear that? You know, not that, I mean, I'm not scared. I say stuff I shouldn't say all the time, um, but I don't want to put a burden on somebody. That's my thing. I don't want to be the cause for somebody's, discomfort for no reason. It's kind of silly. Look what they did here. So the pocket clip has a detent ball smashed in there to help align that clip because it's mounted on top of. I don't think that's. Yeah, it's on top of. It's not recessed in there at all. So that helps it stay in place. It's kind of cool. Versus a second screw, they just put a detent ball on it. Interesting. Not sure how effective that's going to be, but we'll see. Because I'm going to kind of put some tension on this and then press it side to side. Oh, yeah. I mean, hardly any tension, and it's locked in there. That detent ball is definitely keeping it from wobbling. So if I tighten that up, I'll bet you that's just solid as a rock. Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. All right. Let's see if that action is different. I mean, it's crazy snappy. It's pretty smooth. I do have the question though. I wonder if I eased up on that detent a little bit, if this could be more drop shut. Although it's getting better as I'm using it. Appears to be a little bit off centered as well. There it is. It's almost like it wasn't lined up correctly. Yeah, I've got that pivot too tight now. There it goes. I am going to relieve this detent just a little bit. We're at about a little over 40% lockup, so I'm gonna tweak it just slightly, see if I can improve that action. So this metal insert, lock bar insert, had over travel built into it, so I had to take that metal insert out. I'm going to change that just slightly, just the tiniest little bit. There we go. I mean, I didn't change it much, but I did change it. Let's see what that brought us. I mean, I know some are, man, I read your comments, man. I know some of y'all are just against me modifying these actions and feel like the way to modify them. Some of you feel like, well, you should just run the knife and it'll get better. Hey, my 2 cents on that is, well, listen, I get some knives that right out of the box, they run like a dream. So if the idea is that through running the action, it's going to break in. So what happens to those knives that when I get them, they're perfect and fluid and flawless? Do they then go out of tune? You know what I'm saying? Like if they come and they're perfect, do they go out of tune? Or is it okay to just to tune it so it's perfect? Just like other knives that I get. And I can tell you that tiny little bit made a huge difference. I mean, how that's running in my hand now, whew. But, I mean, I'm whacking that pretty hard. The interesting thing about a spine whack is if it'll take that, hitting it harder usually locks it in better. So if it's withstanding it, but I whacked that one pretty good. Considering the size of this knife, I needed to really make sure that lock is solid. And it is. Um, yeah, so I mean, hey, I get it. You know, not everybody's down to just jump in and tune up a knife, but I see it as this tuning is something that should have been done at the factory, and you don't tune it to be too tight. You tune it to be like this is now, amazing. And if it's not tuned like that, it's because they didn't take the time to tune it properly. And to just run it and break it in and it'll get better. Well, if it's tuned properly and you run it and break it in, is it then too loose? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not quite following the logic. Me personally, I think if it's not right, it just needs to be made right. Yeah, wow. All the difference in the world, man. This thing, oh, I mean, it's running so good now, I gotta check it. Make sure that I don't have blade play in there. Nah, that thing's smashed in there. It's wonderful. Wow, that thing runs good. So that hole had nothing to do with it. Yeah, let's get rid of these tools and we'll finish checking this thing in. I mean, hey, I started to say this earlier, but I'm gonna go there. Like this is a great example of a AliExpress find. I mean, I don't, I get it. I mean, I still hear. I mean, one of my earlier comments, I still hear a lot of harsh feedback towards eBay, which is stunning to me. I mean, I buy hundreds of knives off of eBay, man, and occasionally some goofy thing happens, but it doesn't automatically turn into a conspiracy that eBay's full of shill bidders and it's nothing but a cheat. And then immediately right after those comments, then you got dudes piping in and going, yeah, that's why I don't ever buy there. And it's like, I mean, I'm spouting now because it's my channel. I can spout if I want. I'm not going into that forum and calling it out there. This is my world. And so I'm just saying, to me, those comments are nonsense, man. I buy hundreds of knives on eBay, and then, I'm not ripped off. I've had problems. I've had to request refunds and, different things, and I mean glitches and auctions, and things happen, man. But it doesn't fall into the category of that's why I don't ever buy from there, and I'm never doing that again. And it's I I'm just saying for me, man, eBay's trustworthy. I buy an awful lot of knives from secondary sellers, used knives, all kinds of stuff. I mean, occasionally do I get one that's not 100% the way that it was described? Yeah, I mean, and then I have a decision to make. Should I reach out to the seller and say something? And from there, I don't have any control over are they gonna try to offer me to give my money back, to refund the knife, to ship it back to them. I got to ship it back. They may offer me $20. I don't have any control. All I can do is say, hey, this knife isn't what I thought it was. What can we do? Now AliExpress, I bought some stuff there that never shipped. They say it shipped, never shipped. I bought some stuff on AliExpress that say it delivered. It didn't deliver to my house. I don't know where it delivered. It showed some address hundreds of miles away from me, and they said, oh, no, it delivered. And I just took a picture of it. I submitted it. And within 3 days, they refunded my money, and there were no more questions. Now, should I have to go through that? No. Was somebody being devious on the other end of that? It would be easy to assume so. In the end, I've never been cheated, not one time. So, I mean, does it happen? Sure. I'm not going to discount somebody else's misfortune. I guess it could happen. It's never happened to me. So, I like AliExpress, man. I buy stuff from there all the time, and I can tell you right here with this knife, the action on it, it's A level action on this knife, for real. The flipper tab, or the front flipper. I don't know why I got off on that rant, man. I guess I was holding that in. It just popped out of me, man. The action's an A. Ergonomics. So oddly enough, man, this small little knife, there's no flipper tab here. And so normally I would bump that off of a confident grip immediately, and it would be less than confident towards not so confident over on this side. Confident, not so confident, very confident. The shape of this knife, how things are going on, this jimping on the back, this thing is bouncing right off of a confident grip. Like this feels so locked in my hand, that I'm going to say for me, this could be a a backup carry self defense knife. Yeah, this thing is. I mean, especially like this. Whew, man, that is so good. And then with this grip, I'm also really pulling that lockdown. So the knife is extra locked in. The blade is extra locked open. Nice perch for the thumb. I mean, man, this thing, the ergonomics though, everything, the fit and finish of this thing, everything is knocked down wonderfully. There's no hot spots in that knife anywheres. The grip, the ergonomics are just outstanding. Yeah, it's wonderful. Let's check that pocket clip. Yeah, runs really well. Um, Maybe a half an inch sticking out of the pocket there, but it run really well on the thick stuff. It's got excellent tension. On the thin stuff, it's got good tension. It's not excellent, but it's got good tension. Could I increase it? I definitely could, but I mean, it's pretty good. It's a light knife. It doesn't need a mountain of tension, but it's easy in and out. I like it. Let's check it for safety. Yeah, so I cannot contact that blade. That tip is buried. So the clip is good, the tip is good, and I'm confident that I could put this in my pocket and not make contact with it. I mean, wow. So price and availability. Wait a minute. Let's do this. Man, this is a small piece of paper. I probably need to upgrade. Not for this knife, though. This knife's like, yeah, bring it. Whatever you got, man, just give it to me. Look how sharp that thing is. That thing. Yeah. Whew, sticky. And that tip needle. Wow. Price and availability. Okay, so oddly enough, I can't find it's not available on AliExpress. I can't find it. Um, but here's the crazy thing. There's I mean, man, there's probably four or five of these things on eBay, and they range anywhere from like 150 to $250 for this knife. But guess where I found this? I found it on Amazon. So I'm going to put a link below. This model with the round holes. They have another one that's got some like I don't know, some slots cut in here versus these round holes. And it's like $150, I think. This one with the round holes is on sale for 127 bucks, and it's on like 2-day delivery. So if you wanted to get one of these, you can go to Amazon. I'll put the link below and have it at your house in a couple of days. How about that? Awesome. All right. Well, KIZER Assassin Titanium S35VN. Check it out.